and then you talk.
This is Rylan. I'd like to talk like this. Do you remember when we had that episode? I think it was like the Christmas episode a couple weeks back, where I talked about the pickle ornament thing.
Yes.
So this year's pickle gift was whoever found the pickle got to select the murder mystery experience of their choice for both of us to participate in.
So is this like a 2-person murder mystery thing?
Well, I don't know. It's whatever experience is selected.
Oh, I gotcha.
So Chen won.
So she gets to
choose. And I'm guessing she's going to pick like one of those live action, like in person, like, what do you call it? Like immersive theater experiences.
Yeah. Okay.
If she does pick that, I'll be excited. I also know she's watching right now. So
maybe you'll influence her decision then.
Who knows?
So have you done one before? A murder mystery? Anything? Murder mystery party?
I mean, I've watched some like murder mystery shows, which are mildly interesting, but not totally my thing. Okay. But then one of the tabletop games that I run is called Delta Green, and actually does have like a lot of murder mystery type missions involved with it.
I would say I've never done like a event, I guess, murder mystery, but I love murder mystery books. I like TV shows that have to do with crime. I feel like that's similar.
You like the true crime stuff or any crime?
Both.
Yeah,
yep.
Big crime fan.
Yep. Right. In shows. Not a big crime fan for myself.
Yeah.
You also had said that you hadn't used your pickle gift from before. Did you ever use it?
I did cash that in.
Okay.
I actually cashed it in because we had like a COVID exposure. I don't know if we ever actually got COVID. We had some symptoms, but our tests came back negative, so who knows. But we were exposed to somebody who had COVID.
Yep.
So we were stuck inside for a couple weeks. And like in that time, we couldn't go to the gym, obviously. So like we did like an online workout program. Okay. And I selected the program. So I chose like a strength training thing because I knew that she hadn't done something like that before.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun. It was a good time.
Was it body weight then?
No, we used like dumbbells.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, I've got a set of adjustable dumbbells that came in handy.
Nice. Yeah, I have been meaning to like take suggestions from people for workouts on YouTube. We talked about this last episode too, but like getting people's suggestions and doing them for days I don't go into the gym, like yoga. So maybe one day I'll do meditation yoga that you mentioned, or like Trace sent me videos. Maybe I'll try one of those videos. But I was going to do yoga this morning even because like we met up in the morning for this and I told myself I'll wake up a little bit earlier and maybe do some yoga to wake myself up. I woke up a little bit earlier, went to the living room. Actually, first I made coffee. I was like really going to do this. I made coffee and then I went and sat on the couch and went back to sleep. And I drank my coffee like 2 hours later.
Oh, you warmed it up?
No, it's in it. Like the pot keeps it warm.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So it's still hot. But it does turn off after 2.5 hours. So I made it in time before it turned off.
Wow. Very lucky.
Maybe, okay. I'm going to set a goal this week where one of these mornings it actually happens. And we'll see how I feel afterwards.
Okay.
Either yoga probably is what I'll do.
I did, for the first time ever, teach a meditation exercise to someone, to Jen. Okay. And she loved it. Like, wow. Yeah, it was something very different than any meditation that she's done before. And so maybe there's like a novelty playing into how much she liked it. But yeah, it was a good experience.
It's cool.
And she's like brutally honest with me. So when she tells me I'm a good teacher, like I really like it means a lot to me because I know she means it. So
yeah, that's always nice.
Yeah.
So was this a new experience for you too, trying to teach a meditation?
Yes. Yeah. Because I've been doing it for a while and I've given people tips before, but actually like guiding someone through a meditation is pretty different, but I felt like, given how well I knew like this particular practice, like it felt kind of natural for me.
Yeah, because I was gonna say you probably need to build up that experience to be able to do it. Now, could you do it? Would you be comfortable doing it to someone you didn't know as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, depends on the context, but generally, yeah.
That should be like whenever you invite people over next time, you should be like, okay, wait, before we do anything, let's try this. And then you like force them into trying it. And
yeah, it'd be especially fun with this one. Maybe I'll tell you about it later, but like, because there's like a hand motion involved with it too. So it has like that.
Now I'm intrigued.
Yeah, there's like a goofy aspect to it in some ways, you know? But yeah, I thought it was a good experience.
Cool. Okay, well, now you're making me want to do yoga one day this week and meditation one day this week. I'm going to do both. So, going back, I feel like we touched on last week's episode a little bit already.
A little bit.
But one big theme, if you haven't watched it last week, was kind of like goal setting or even like New Year's resolution, kind of like mixed together.
If you haven't watched last week's episode, what are you doing with your life?
Pause here and go back. Because you need to know what we're going to be talking about.
It's a great episode.
But it really got us thinking about how to set goals and how it differs between people, and our mindsets differ between setting goals amongst us, even us three that sat at the table last week. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I think it gave us things to think about. So maybe, did you have any further thoughts on, like, did you end up thinking about something more this week because of our talk?
I don't know if my thoughts like went anywhere beyond the conversation from last week, but I did think about it a lot. And, you know, one of the things that Trace, who was our guest last week, one of the things that he talked about is how he has like a template for getting more out of like reading. So like he'll write down his thoughts, basically about what he reads. There's a little more structure around it than that, but. And that got me thinking, and I've thought about it multiple times, about how like I do so many things but don't necessarily take the time to always reflect on them.
Gotcha.
And I don't know if that's like I don't know. I'm trying to relate this to goals a bit. Like without me setting a goal, maybe that makes me less likely to do that kind of like exercise where I like try to get more value out of like a thing that I'm doing.
Right.
Whereas I feel like motivation to do things comes really easily to me because of the way that I frame like the whole like my identity is what drives me.
Yep.
Instead of a goal. Like that gives me it makes motivation feel like the easiest thing in the world. But then I think maybe I'm missing some component in terms of like squeezing more value out of my time. So I don't know if goals has something to do with that, or if it's just something that I haven't learned to do at this point, but that's basically where my head's been at. And I don't know, like I still don't think I've gone beyond the conversation, but.
Okay. I feel like you touched on a couple of things that I kept thinking about during the week. And one of them was like, kind of going along with the identity thing. I feel like that stuck with me, but it's also something Trace mentioned from the book Atomic Habits. That was like everything you do is like a vote for that person that you want to be, or like a drop in the bucket for what you want to be. And so many times this week, that thought has gone through my head. Like, I think even yesterday, I sat down on the couch and I was like, wait a second. I wanted to get stuff done today. Am I going to vote for me being lazy, sitting on the couch, or am I going to vote for me to be like actually getting this, like, I don't remember what I wanted to do now. I did a lot of cleaning. I was like, do I want to vote for a cleaner apartment? Like, because I want to keep my apartment clean.
Yeah.
And so that kind of like thought in my head, and I was like, all right, I'm voting to clean. So that's what I did. And like, I think I've been like driving to the gym and I was like, look at me voting for myself to like have a good workout today.
You're a good citizen to yourself.
Yeah. And now I even like, I did download an app that I can get this book on. So I'm reading like my fictional book on the side right now. And I was like, I think it would be really easy to also read like a self-help nonfiction book at the same time. Whereas if I'm reading two of the similar types of books, I think I'd get them mixed up. But I was like, now I can bring that book with me on my phone and try to read it. So Atomic Habits might be the one that I choose. And So that helped. Like, I really enjoyed that identity aspect of our talk last week. And then also going to Orange Theory Fitness, if you go to one of these gyms, you'll have seen this, I swear. This, like, at the start of the new year, they have a screen in the lobby, and at the start of the new year, it said, no goal equals no change in effort. And that has kind of stuck with me, and I've been trying to think of, like, why it wouldn't. So, like, for me, like, even my instructor yesterday was saying, she like brought that topic up at the end of class, and I was thinking, like, yeah, what makes me like come in and want to lift heavier weights? It's because I want to get stronger and I want to notice me getting stronger, and I feel like that's my goal, that's like forcing me to try to lift heavier weights. Otherwise, would I do it, or would I just be working out to get a workout in? And so, like, I feel like having that underlying goal, but I've still been trying to figure out if there's a contradiction to that. No goal equals no change in effort.
This might also be something where it like varies from person to person.
It could be.
Because like literally I never think about like, oh, I'm doing this because I want to get strong or because I want to, you know, be lean or whatever. It's just like it in some ways it kind of feels like automatic, and some days I'm like, I am this kind of person.
Yep.
And so like I just, that's not like how I think about it. And the times earlier in my life when like I have been like more goal focused have been the times when I tend to fail more often. So, like, looking forward doesn't seem to help me in that way.
And I feel like, yeah, we kind of...
Some people, maybe it does.
Yeah, and we kind of talked about that last time with your exam, and actually that was another example that happened to me this week. Was I was talking to one of my managers about how I need to get motivation to, like, do my modules. Like, now that I'm done with exams, it's just so hard to, like, make myself do modules. And so she said...
Congratulations, by the way. I don't think we talked about it on the podcast, but Elisa passed her final actuarial exam.
Yep.
So now she just has like the easier components. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, it felt good. But now, yeah, I feel like I'm over the hard part hump and I can't get myself to do the easier parts. But what she said, like, her words were, have you set a goal for yourself on when to get them done? And I was like, nope. So I feel like that is what is going to get me to get them done. I had a goal originally, but it was like a far-fetched, unrealistic goal. So now I need to actually set a realistic goal. And I think I can actually get stuff done if I set the goal for myself. Because, like, that kind of hit me, that, like, comment. And maybe she knows that about me, that I like setting goals. So that's maybe why she asked that, but maybe it works for her too. But I was like, yep, I need to set a goal and then I'll actually get stuff done. Because that was like that change in effort for me, I think. Because right now I have no effort.
So like the deadline, that bit of like structure or pressure.
And I think it's not just the deadline, because I think to get to the deadline, I need a plan also. And so I think my goal would be like every Tuesday night, I need to spend 2 hours doing this, or at one night a week, I need to spend 2 hours doing this. And like my goal at the new year was I have to do, like, rewind. It's like these slides that I have to go through, like kind of like a PowerPoint where I go through slides and they tell me to read things. And I told myself every night I have to get through at least 10 slides, which doesn't seem like a lot, but some are worse than others. But like I have to get through at least 10 slides before I do anything fun for myself. And like I thought that would motivate me. I just didn't do it yet. So there's also a difference between setting a goal and actually doing things for your goal. But I think what helps me is when I lay out that plan, if I did 10 slides 4 nights a week, where would that get me and when? And then I could like make a goal for myself and be like, all right, I can accomplish this. Once I see the plan, then I like believe the plan, maybe.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because we haven't really talked about like planning and structure.
No, yeah.
Because that is a little different than a goal by itself.
It is. I think that helps me. Because
I plan despite not having goals. I still plan like ahead for things, but
yeah, planning will help you get places. So yeah, that is different than goal setting. Yeah, so those are my thoughts this week on last week's episode.
Yeah, I think this is something that like a lot of people deal with or struggle with, because most of us out there are trying to achieve things with their lives, and we're all trying to find like the best way to do that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It was a good conversation.
If we want to, like that, what you just said, most people are trying to achieve something in life, actually goes into something I found on my phone that we can talk about for our advice section.
Oh,
so
I would love to do that.
Yeah.
I've been so excited for this because you found the things and I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. This one is actually the longest one, so it might take me a little bit to read, but I thought it was so realistic and related to our goals. So starting our next segment, adequate advice. Is that what we're calling it? Okay, so I got these off of Reddit. I'm not a Reddit user, so do you say our advice?
Yeah, you don't seem like a Redditor.
Why not?
It's hard to explain, but take it as a compliment.
Okay. Well, that's good. It makes me not want to be one when you say it like that. Okay, so this is our advice section in Reddit.
The
is that what I would say?
Yeah, you could say
our
that.
Subreddit.
You could also just say the advice subreddit.
Advice subreddit. Okay. Yeah. Okay, but basically this person said, what do I do with all this time I have now that I graduated? When do you find contentment and stability in your 20s or adulthood? And he's 23, postgraduate. All his life he's been trying to like go to school. That was the goal, graduate. 8th grade, high school, college. And he always knew what his next year would be like. But now post-grad, he feels directionless. He keeps bouncing around jobs and trying to keep himself busy because he's become restless, and he gets worried that he won't be happy at his job, get worried about trying to stay busy for the rest of his life. He says, I'm an incredibly anxious person, so I can't help but shake my head imagining I live to 70. That's another 40 years trying to figure out what I do to occupy my time, trying to be mindful and enjoy the present, because who knows what will happen in life. But I want my new long-term goal to be to make it to 30. It's a doable goal and make that my purpose. My purpose was to spend 4 years getting an education to graduate, so now maybe my goal can be to explore and try new things and stay curious enough to make it to 30 and reassess then. Anyone have helpful tips for tackling the 20s? When I first read this, I thought it was more like, how do you like find, like, because I agree, you have like these defined years of school of like, I need to get through this year and get my bachelor's degree if that's what the goal is. And then after that, you're in a job for the rest of your life and there's no like next hurdle. I mean, maybe that's what the problem is if you don't see that next hurdle to overcome. But like kind of talking, I feel like it kind of goes with goal setting, but maybe not. But like, how do you feel worth it going towards no end goal? Like, that's what I kind of imagine it like I'm in this job now. Like, there's nothing next for me. Because that's how I felt kind of after graduating too. It's like, okay, 1 year down at my new job.
1 year
now I get another year.
The rest of my life.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think there are a few things that I want to touch on with this. Okay. And just briefly, like the individual who made this post used the word anxiety, which I don't know if they're using it in the colloquial sense, and like we all have some anxiety. Yeah. And, you know, in some ways that's good. Or if he or she's using it like in the clinical sense, where maybe they need some help. The fact that they're considering maybe not making it to 30, and that's like something that they're like having to like think about, I'm guessing maybe they could use some professional help, and that might be valuable for them. But with that out of the way, we can kind of broaden the conversation a bit. This reminded me, as you were talking through it, of one of our earlier episodes where I was talking about like you achieve so many things, and after a while that starts to mean less, and you're just like standing at the top of the mountain you just climbed, just looking for like a higher peak.
Right.
And And I think that's somewhat related to this. Like, there's a lot of structure in school, right?
Mm-hmm.
And through college. And there's a lot of, like, goals that you're, like, checking the boxes on, and then you get out of college, and now you have to, like, kind of, like, create your own mountain to climb.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's, like, an inherent weakness in that. Due to the same reason that I just said, like, after you climb so many mountains, they're all kind of the same.
Right.
And that's why, I think part of that is, like, figuring into, like, my mindset around, like, not having goals and instead being more of, like, a person that lives in the moment and tries to be where it makes sense for me to be. I relate to this post in some ways because I feel like I used to think like that. Maybe not with, like, the same level of stress around it, but
yeah.
I certainly understand, like, kind of that directionless, or maybe like the direction is, like, too tight. Like, I'm an actuary now, working in my actuary job, and this is my life, and yeah, that's all defined, and there's, like, a stress related to that, like that confinement, and I said in our episode last week, like, without goals you have more freedom, and this is kind of what I'm touching on with that.
Yep.
And I'm not saying my way is better, but it is the superior way. No, I'm not saying my way is better. I think having a goal, and maybe going back to what we said earlier this episode, like, maybe not having goals has led me to, like, not getting more out of the things that I do.
Yeah.
Like how Trace keeps records of what he thinks about, like, as he reads a book.
Right.
I would like to have more of a focus like that in my life. But yeah, I also don't want to feel confined to my goal, and, like, I've got too much structure to be as creative and effective as I can be.
Yeah. So would your advice kind of be like, it's okay to have this open life, find your alleys of freedom that you, like, figure out what you enjoy and, like, make that your life. Like, don't just look for the next stop. I don't know.
Yeah, I appreciate that you're focusing me back on the person here, because I feel like I was going
the
off on a
advice
tangent
or something.
Yeah. Ooh, I don't know. Like, it's hard to say without, like, more details.
Yeah.
And,
the way.
Yeah. Why don't you?
Well, because, like, I feel like I relate to this too. Especially going back to, like, being done with my exams, because I feel like that was kind of partially, like, my job, or, like, yeah, my job goals. It was like, pass the next exam, and, like, now there's nothing, and so now, yeah, what do I want to, like, strive for or go for it? And so, I mean, I'm stuck in that right now, still figuring that out. But, like, my suggestion would be, like, I do talk to my manager that, like, yeah, goals do help for me, and, like, maybe I need a little push to, like, go one way or the other. And so, like, maybe there can be small goals in your work life that you, like, push towards, and you can, like, hopefully, like, if you're not enjoying your work life, hopefully you can try to switch that around and, like, maybe try to find a new job, even though that's also scary, and, like, that would just be a scary experience for me. So I bet some people can relate to that. But then with this, I am kind of on the way of, like, try to find your goals outside of your work life. Like, school to me is kind of like the work life, and I'm trying to, like, relate it back to that. But, like, after school, like, you're done taking tests and, like, having to learn certain topics, and now you can, like, go explore whatever you want on your own and figure out what you like. And I feel like I kind of liked his idea of, like, make it to 30. Maybe I don't like the wording of it, but, like, try to make the most of every year. Like, why not every year just be like, I'm gonna, like, enjoy my 24th year or whatever. So I do like the idea of making the most of right now too, and not trying to, like, strive for, I need to become a manager in the next 2 years type of goal.
Right. When you're asking me about what my advice would be for this person, and you said something along the lines of, like, find something you enjoy, I think that's very important that people do that. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in your career. If you're able to make it work for your career, that's amazing.
Yep.
You know, like if you like programming, I think, you know, you're going to have a life ahead of you where you can find places to work where you're able to do programming and make a good living off of that. If you are wanting to be an artist, you know, that makes it a little harder, and you might need like supplemental income from something that you don't enjoy as much.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, a lot of those decisions come down to spending the time ruminating on what you find acceptable for yourself. Like, are you okay going through life, you know, working a full-time job that you don't enjoy as much to support the things you do enjoy doing with the rest of your time?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, for some people that answer is going to be, yeah, that's fine. And for others, no, they're going to have to throw themselves into the thing that they love and try to do that as a career, even if it's not something that can support them in a way that makes life easy. And like wrestling with that challenge and being willing to accept what life gives you is, you know, a hard thing to do.
Yeah. And you made me kind of think of like, maybe it's not even like a hobby that drives you. Maybe it's like your family, like either kids or like your parents or something. And maybe just trying to make the most of life with them. Like maybe you don't have a job that you love, but like you have people at home that you love, or like other people, like friends and other relationships that you love. So trying to make the most of that too. Like, I think that goes into the next one.
Okay.
It says, how can I learn to talk to people? So this one kind of scared me reading the title. I'm nearing my third year of study in school.
Start a podcast.
I'm nearing my third year of study at school, and I have not been able to socialize with people in my university, slightly because of COVID, because I haven't met up with people. It's also because I'm a bit antisocial, and I haven't made a single friend since 8th grade. It's become worse because I couldn't really relate to the things most people in my age group liked, so I never learned proper socialization skills. It's getting bad to the point that most of my time at university is spent in the gym or in my room studying and attending classes, and I have to lie to my family about how much I socialize with others so that they aren't concerned, I think, about my social well-being. How do I learn to talk to people and form relationships with each other? So I feel like there's a couple heavier topics within it.
I'm feeling a lot of shame from this person.
Yeah.
Like not even willing to like be honest with her family about it. I mean, that must be really hard to feel that like down on yourself about something.
Yeah, I feel like maybe that makes me consider like with my kids someday, hopefully I'm not as pressured to say like, have you made new friends, or who are you hanging out with this weekend? Or so that gives me some perspective as a possible future parent. But then also, like, they called themselves antisocial, and I'm wondering if they truly are antisocial or just can't socialize well. I don't know if those are two different things, but like if you truly don't like socializing with people, I don't think you need to, or you don't need to force yourself to if that doesn't make you happy. But if you struggle with it, that's like me. I think I really struggle with socializing with people at first. One of my biggest fears is going to a conference where I don't know anyone, and you have to like sit at a lunch table with people and talk to them. And usually I'm just hoping like, let there be people who like know how to conversate at this table, because I'm not going to be the one doing it. So I kind of relate to that. And then I also related like in college, I had like one close friend, which was like my roommate for all 4 years. And I don't think I ever like made a close relationship with like a lot of other people from college, because I don't think I really talked to anyone
Just
that
like
I
the
knew.
one roommate?
Yeah. And so, I mean, I had other roommates too throughout college, but like the one that I had all 4 years is kind of my close friend from college. Because yeah, I struggled like maybe even finding what I like and finding people who also like it. I just don't think I also reached out really to like try to do that. So I kind of get where they're coming from. And I don't know what my advice would be though, because I don't think I did anything to help. Can you think of anything to like help learn how to talk with and form relationships?
I don't know if I've got great advice for this one. Someone referring to themselves as antisocial, a lot of times when I've heard that from other people, it seems like something that's designed to like protect themselves, because there are very few people who are legitimately antisocial. Like extrovert, introvert, doesn't matter. Almost everybody loves interacting with people to some degree. And I think this person does too, or they wouldn't be having that kind of internal dissonance around it. And maybe antisocial as like an identity is kind of a way that they're like protecting themselves from the fact that, yeah, maybe they just lack social skills and people aren't enjoying being around them as much because they haven't like taken the time to like work on that. And it sounds like they haven't. Socializing is definitely a skill. It's not something that comes naturally to everyone. I would even say to most people, it's all about exposure, getting yourself into situations where you're either forced to socialize or, you know, forcing yourself to reach out to people. And that's how you build up that social muscle. Like if I were talking to this person, I don't know if that would help them. It's just kind of how I understand socializing.
My first thought after that was maybe like take the risk and try to talk to someone, but I don't even think I would have the courage to do that. So I don't know if that's the best advice. But I think
so like if I'm gonna pretend to be this person, you tell me to take the risk and socialize, and I say, but I like they're going to reject me.
Yes. That's a fear.
Yeah. Well, I think just saying yes is fine too.
Yep.
The question that people should be asking themselves is, yeah, like you're going to get rejected. A lot of people aren't going to like you, especially before you get used to socializing more. But what does that mean to you? Does that, like, what do you carry away from that somebody doesn't like you?
And I feel like those aren't the right people. And so like once you do find someone who is like open to talking, that might be a start of something there. I feel like they purposely try to like form all of these clubs or all of these meetups to like try and find that group of people that you enjoy. And like I think I was always scared to go to those because like people who have the same interests, oh, they already have friends with like that they're going to it with. But I think just trying to like get yourself in there and give it a chance and like go to a couple of things might end up being better. Like you might purposely split up into groups and then you start to get to know people. And I think even as an adult, that seems hard because like we don't have like a club set up, but I think we do kind of like, let's for example say you're a big bowler and you join a bowling league, like you might find friends through that. And so like I feel like I'm gonna try to take a chance like this because like I really want to like go back and play competitive volleyball. So I think I'm gonna like put my name in a hat and be like, hey, can you just see if like for the person who runs the league, like can you just see if someone is missing a person and they're looking for a sixth person to play on their team? And like hopefully that'll get somewhere. Still, I think you can find interests as an adult. It may be more difficult depending on like where you live and stuff, but
I think for practical solutions, I'm glad you started talking about those because you can always look at websites like what is it, Meetup or meetups.com. Stuff like that to find people who are doing things that you enjoy in the area and just go do that. Eventually you'll make some friends with people by finding shared interests.
Yeah, I feel like I have a good example of someone that I know that they moved to a new city right after graduating, didn't know anyone, and they did like basically like a dating app but for friends and just met people places to try to make friends. And so now she has one good friend that she has, and there've been other like friend like that are not as fun or like they didn't share the same interests, so like they just don't hang out as much. But if you find someone good, sometimes you just have to give it a shot, even though that seems scary to me too. But sometimes it turns out really good. I feel like I have to talk about my good examples. So one time in high school, like I had friends, but there was a gym class I did not know anyone in my gym class. And so let's say we run around the track one day, like once you're done, you got to sit on the bleachers. And so I just like sit by myself on the bleachers until one day, I feel like this is like the cliche way to start a conversation is like I complimented someone's shoes who also was sitting by herself. And like, then all of a sudden we became like gym buddies and gym best friends. And so now I had a friend at gym class, and so that was fun. Compliments are nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of people wanting to make connections, and sometimes all it takes is like extending the olive branch or just that little ice breaking compliment, like whatever it is. That is some adequate advice.
Adequate advice. Okay, this one is kind of deeper about relationships, and that's why I thought it could relate to our first one too. But like, girlfriend broke up with me after 4 years. They're 22 years old because I didn't want to marry her. Okay, yeah, it's from the guy's perspective. So I want to build my career, find a good job, and arrange my life as best I can. She wanted me to marry her as soon as I got a job and as soon as I received my first salary because she can't wait any longer. She gave me an ultimatum that she would break up if I thought about a career instead of getting married. I didn't agree to it, and she broke up. I'm not sad because I know I made a good choice, but I also need to hear what others think about what I decided.
Oh, hey. Round of applause
Just gonna go like this.
For dodging a bullet. What a champ. Nice work.
I feel like his mindset is very good. Like, focus on yourself before, like, focusing on someone else. That sounds kind of weird, but, like, if you have goals...
Let's point out some red flags too.
Yeah.
Like setting an ultimatum, especially on something like that big. Also, like the amount of pressure. She wants me to marry her as soon as I get a job and as soon as I receive my first salary. Like,
what? That makes me ask why.
The job and salary part is weird. It's like, okay, now that you've got money, let's move forward. Like it doesn't smell good, right?
Yep. And I feel like, I don't know, it makes sense to me because especially at that age, before you graduate and after you graduate, I feel like when you're on your own trying to get a job and like make your own living, that is a lot different environment than you're used to before that even. And so I feel like that's something that kind of changed with me and like the current relationship I was in at that point in my life too, is like, we definitely maybe focused on ourselves a little more while still trying to focus on ourselves after graduation. But like, it was hard. And it created like...
You mean you focused on each other and then...
Like we were definitely focused on ourselves separately.
Okay.
After graduation while trying to focus on each other. But I think that was harder to do because, I mean, we had different paths and we wanted different things. And so I do think you start to have a change, like... You're going through different things in life now that you're graduating. Mm-hmm. Some people way more than others. And so I think that changes your mindset of like, what do you want out of life? And like, I don't know, I'm a very different person even than when I was like high school or college. So like now I'm very different. I think I like also just found myself a little more because I focused on myself after that a little more too. Yeah, I am proud of your choice. Sorry.
Yeah, and they're both 22 years old, and like nowadays that's pretty early to get married. So no shade to anyone who got married earlier than that. I think it works out very well for a lot of people.
Well, and I think it probably works out when people are like ready for it and they like know they both want it. And I feel like that was a big thing here too, of like not both wanting that. That was a more fun one.
Yeah, if you need an ultimatum to like get the thing that you want, you're probably not actually getting the thing that you want.
I guess it's like a threat. Like, if you don't marry me, like, see ya. And then he showed her. Okay, see ya. And I do think if it really was going to work out, like maybe you guys will like
find each other later. 5 years down the road when...
Maybe you'll both be longing for each other. Maybe she'll have a change of mindset and be like, okay, I see why we needed this break or whatnot.
I'm sorry for setting an ultimatum.
Yeah, she might realize that. It's probably a good thing that you did with, I do think relationships teach you things. And so you do realize, oh, that didn't work. And so then you can like change going forward.
Yeah.
Okay, this one's kind of a fun one. So this one is geared towards men of Reddit.
I thought that last one was fun.
It was a fun one too. But this one I'm wondering about, and you'll see.
Men of Reddit. Yeah. I don't know if I qualify as a man of Reddit.
So we'll say men.
Okay.
Do you care if a woman doesn't get her nails done? So I think this is a girl who says, I've always worn my nails natural, but all my female friends get theirs done and tell me it makes a woman appear more classy. They say men consider fake nails more attractive and that it's a sign that a woman maintains herself better. And I'm asking this because I love to get my nails done.
This is one of those questions where I don't know if I'm qualified to answer, but
as yourself, do you care?
Sure. So, the short answer is no, not at all. And oftentimes I think I prefer sometimes the nails can be a bit much depending on the nail. I'm not judging again. Sometimes though, I think someone will select a really cool color for the nail polish and I'll notice it and love it and compliment it and it's really cool to me, but it's not for me, that's not an attraction thing. It's more hey, you've got cool style, you know? Did I explain that well?
Yeah.
I think I've even complimented your nails. It's
you have, yeah. He's
that
done
nail
the color
is
thing.
Sick. Yeah. Actually, can I see these?
These ones are,
it's kind of hard to see in the light.
They're sparkly though.
You can show me later. Yeah,
okay.
Those are cool.
But I get my nails done for myself because I feel like it's time to myself. I get to sit there and do nothing. And I love the way they look on me. And I'm not thinking about what the guys think. And I feel like if you're more comfortable in your natural nail, that's what you like. Yeah, I like it because it makes me feel like I'm dressed up more. But I don't think it's necessary for
it's interesting. Yeah. I don't think so either. And I'm not speaking for all guys here. Maybe some of you out there are yeah, if her nails aren't painted, then get out of that. I don't know. I think it is interesting though, how it's phrased, because probably this person feels the same way, that when her nails are painted, she feels classier. But the fact that she thinks about it as it's because guys think I'll look classier. Yeah. That's what makes her feel classier.
Yep,
I think
can see that.
Kind of an interesting.
Yeah, whereas
putting the self-worth on
now I'm wondering,
somebody outside of yourself is.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think, is that my mindset? And I'm thinking, and I think for me, is I always look at other girls who have their nails done and be like, that's so cool. I want to be like that. And I'm why do I want to be like that?
Yeah.
I just think it's so cool. But why do I think it's cool? I don't know. I do feel like it's because they look I own this world. So maybe that's how I feel. That
when you see another person, you're like, oh, I want to be like that. That's how I feel when I see happy people.
Oh yeah.
No, I think actually maybe there was a time where that is true, where I would see people who were just legitimately having a good time, and me feeling internally I wish I felt like that. I think I've achieved that now, but yeah. I don't know. Maybe I should stop talking and think about it more before I continue.
Now that you say that though, those are the types of people I think I'm attracted to on social media. Influencers who look like they're always one girl that I follow, for example, she always seems so calm and she does a lot of very simple vegan style eating, yoga, and everything always seems perfect. I'm just how do you live this lifestyle so effortlessly is what she makes it seem like. And I'm I bet it's not. I don't think that would be a lifestyle that I could fit into my daily routine, but it seeing it almost makes me feel more calm, and that's what I like. But yeah, I'm definitely attracted to influencers who are oh my gosh, that looks so fun, but I would never be that type of person. Hopefully that would be the mindset, but
Elisa,
what?
You know what I love? When I see somebody being just super cool and happy, and like it kind of inspires me to be the same. If I see someone smiley, I like to smile too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You do like that. Okay.
I think that's great.
Oh, that's good. Okay, well, that was all of the topics I found.
I think we gave some adequate advice.
Yeah, and I feel like some people could relate to what we were talking about. If you have other suggestions, I'd love to hear it, because obviously we have these same problems too.
Yeah, also ask us for advice and we'll answer it.
Yes, ask us anything, stupid or serious.
We want to hear about all your issues.
Yeah.
And then talk about them publicly. No, we will...
anonymously, maybe?
We will... we'll be sure to leave your name off of whatever we talk about. We will anonymize you. Anonymize.
Yeah.
Aminalize?
My brain is spinning right now.
Sure.
I have no idea.
I want to wrap up soon, but I think like no, let's wrap up.
Okay. Well, that was fun. We like hit a bunch of everything, I feel like.
Yeah.
I don't know. I enjoyed this. All the topics that we talked about today.
I'm glad we brought back the adequate advice column, because I think it was good the first time. I think it was good this time. We should keep it going. I would like to do some actual like advice from the audience though.
The viewers.
Viewers.
Yeah.
Or listeners. You know, if you listen on audio only, kind of sucks, but yeah, that's fine too. And we'll take any advice questions. No, we love our audio listeners as well.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.